him the Grand Poobah. You all were my age and you used to watch the place. He's like the Grand Poobah of the place. So he's our owner of Exit, and he is so wonderful. He really builds into each of us, like whatever our goals are. He meets with us. He does one-on-one training with us. You can get him. He's a live person. It's not Wizard of Oz at some of these companies. You don't really know who you're dealing with. He's in the office every day, and he still works in real estate, so he knows what we're going through. So he is a great asset to all of us, and he's made my business grow big time. And there's a lot of opportunity at Exit, if you're not at Exit already, that they have that I have not seen in other companies that I've been in. I'll just say it like that. So he's going to be here, and he's going to do a little part for us. I think his presentation is up already?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, my
Come on
goodness.
up. Another person.
Hi guys, how you doing? So that was pretty cool to follow up Travis and Latrice, because I can't think of two people that know marketing and branding better than they do. I've been a fan of the ice cream lady since I first met Lana, because I'm like, oh my God, who is this? I have to hang out with her. This is the coolest lady ever. And I knew Travis when he was doing events in the neighborhood that we both live in. So, you know, it's interesting how things come full circle and you get to work with people in different aspects. So I never thought that these would be the two people that I'm speaking with. It's a pretty cool opportunity to be in the same room as both of them, hearing their perspectives on marketing. This little cheesy thing up here, this is my laptop. And as Latrice was talking and as Travis was talking, you've got to be your own billboard. Now, this is not something I'm going to go into today. Some of you guys have heard me talk ad nauseum about social media. This is not a social media class. But this kind of stuff, I call it guerrilla marketing. When I first moved to the city, I had no money. I had no friends here. I did not know anyone at all. And I was like, what do I do? And so I was literally sticking car flyers on people's windshields, because that's the only thing I knew to do to start getting business. And I knocked on the doors of FSBOs and expireds, because that's how I got my start. My first listing in Chicago was an expired. And prior to that, in Indiana, where I'm from, my first listing was an expired. So for those of you guys that know me and know that I've been in the business 20 years and, you know, now I'm a top producer, whatever that means, you may know that I have a good following of people, that I'm out there coaching agents, and that I do a good amount of volume of sales myself. I still love to wake up in the morning and sell real estate first and foremost. What all of this has still taught me, and what listening to Travis and Latrice has reminded me, is that this is a contact sport. Like anything else, if you sit there and you sit back and Latrice stops talking about what she does and Travis stops talking about what he does, there will be someone else coming up. Because I'm seeing it right around me every day. There's going to be someone else coming up that they're not going to steal your client, they're going to get your client, because they deserve your client, because you no longer are talking to your client. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I have screwed up every possible way in that 20 years. I've made a lot of money and blown through most of it at one time or another, doing dumb stuff, dumb marketing, the wrong marketing, not talking to the right people. So I've learned a lot over the years. So trust me, do everything that I tell you to, and don't do the stuff that I tell you not to, because I have the bills still. Most of them are paid, but literally the bills from some of the marketing and dumb stuff that I got talked into by all these wonderful vendors that you guys also get the phone calls from. I won't mention them by name because we are going to record this and use this again. But there's just so much noise out there in the industry. So what I try to do with our agents and the agents that I coach is I try to be transparent. I'm going to tell you when I screw up, and I'm going to tell you when I did something right and I made some money out of it. If any of you guys know Marky Lemons that we work with, we're lucky enough to have her as our educator, director of education at Exit. She's training for all brands all around the country. She's in Colorado right now today. She will also be very transparent with you. That's another person that I met along the way when Marky was the queen of short sales. And what did I just say? The queen of short sales. That was her brand. That was her tagline. Now, we're not doing a lot of short sales luckily anymore. We're still doing some, but not a lot. But that was her brand. And another thing I learned from her was to be transparent, to share, because it's going to come back to you. Like Latrice said, like Travis sitting here showing you what he's doing. So hopefully today what you'll get out of this is learning from some of the stuff I've done wrong and some straight talk about what's going on in our industry, because there again is so much noise. So I literally finished this PowerPoint as Travis and I had our Uber over here from Exit, it was printing as we went through. So if there's a typo, I apologize, but this is fresh information. I do a lot of different presentations around the country. I'm going to be with Exit Maryland the week after this, talking about something else. And the more that I looked at that old stale social media presentation that I put together over a year ago, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to you guys about what I see overall. So this is a bird's eye view. We're going to fly over a lot of things in the next 30 minutes, but I think hopefully what you're going to get out of it is here is where you need to be spending your time and focus, and it's going to be no holds barred. So this is Realtor realities. This is what's really out there. And the first one we're going to talk about is your company will not give you enough leads to eat, nor will the brand save you. This is one of my favorite ones because I got to tell you, Exit's not going to put food on your table either. None of the brands, none of the independents, no one is going to put your food on your table but you. I can't tell you how long that takes some agents to figure out. They bounce from brokerage to brokerage to brokerage, convinced that the next one is the one because that one had a billboard campaign, or that one you sat your rear end down on the bus bench with your name on it, or the grocery carts that I spent $2,000 on at Jewel, but then that Jewel nobody spoke English at. The dumb things that we do, hoping that someone will call us that's a stranger, when a lot of the people we need to be talking to are right underneath us. So what we want to talk to you about first of all is that this company, any company, is not going to save you. You have to go out there and you've got to get the leads yourself. Now there may be a dessert or two, a dessert item that someone's going to bring you from time to time at company A or B, but the bottom line is no company, especially in this day and age, is talking to the point that they can get you the leads you need. If you think about it and you're out there in the business, who are they talking to? They're talking to an agent. Oh, I listed with XYZ agent. They're not calling the front desk at XYZ real estate company. They're calling the agent that they built a relationship with, or that knocked on their door, or that paid to be in front of their face on Zillow or Realtor.com. That's the reality. So the company provided leads. If you are getting them, be careful about the referral fees on them. They are massive because those leads are, by the way, probably resold from another vendor, or they've got to have to go out there and spend a ton of money to get to them because, again, they're competing with Realtor.com and Zillow. So you need to be really conscious also of where your leads are going. I want to say this again. This is the first time I've said this in a presentation before. You need to be conscious of where your leads are going. If you are a listing agent, how many guys in here have listings? Okay, almost everybody in here, I would assume. If you have listings and you are on Realtor.com, go look and make sure the listing leads go to you. Because if your company, your brokerage isn't paying for it and you're not paying for it, they are being resold to a third-party agent that's not you. If you are at a brokerage that makes you have the brokerage phone number on your listings, in addition to your phone number, you do realize that may be going to the front desk and the duty time person, who, by the way, probably has not seen that property, unlike you, who not only saw it but listed it and is properly marketing it. So be careful of where your leads are going, not just if you're getting leads from the company. So you've really got to be thinking about this lead sources, which is why it's so key that you are in control of where your leads come from. Lead sources change over time. So if you had something that worked yesterday, God bless you, I hope it works tomorrow as well, but it may not always. How many guys have been around in the business at least 10 years? Okay, no, only one? All right, so that's kind of interesting. If you are in a room with people that have been around the business 10 or 15 years, they'll remember a couple companies that were out there that were huge lead referrers. And guess what? None of them are around anymore. If I said the name to somebody from 10 years ago, they'd know. You guys wouldn't because those businesses aren't in existence. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Zillow or Realtor.com or any of those other websites. I know where the traffic is going now, but I don't know necessarily where it's going to come from tomorrow. So you can't be dependent on one or two lead sources. And if you are getting leads from your company, please make sure that that is not your only source of leads. I see a lot of people that come into my office where they're getting a lead or two a month from their company and they're not converting them that well. So they're sitting there coming to me going, Nick, I'm starving. And I said, okay, well, tell me about your lead generation. They're like, well, I really don't have a lot of time to do my own lead generation because I'm chasing after these leads from the company. Well, number one, you have a time management issue. But number two, you have been taught to be dependent on a third party that is not working in your best interest. So you've got to go out and realize no company, no brand is going to save you. The lead generation is your job. It is no one else's job. No one else is going to properly do it for you. The next thing, your primary job is to lead generate. Your only job for the first 2 hours of the day is to lead generate. If I could get you guys to lead generate the first 2 hours of the day, I could solve every other problem out there. And that, by the way, that goes in my own business too. We were sitting there this morning, I said to Travis, we had something going on about a graphic design piece, and I said, you know what, my first job today is to do X, Y, Z. I had a new lead in, I needed to respond to that lead. That was my first job. You guys have a lot of stuff in your inbox, a lot of noise, a lot of clients that are interesting and need your attention. Your first job every day, you time block. How many of you guys are using a time block calendar right now? Not that many of you guys. You guys all should be using a time block calendar. If you're using your time block calendar and you are following it, you will be lead generating the first 2 hours of the day. Maybe you exercise first, you've got some family time or meditation time, then you go right into lead generation. If you do the mistake that I did for the first 10 years I was in the business, and still to this day sometimes do, when I open up my email and start putting out fires, I wear a little firefighter's hat, but that's a pretty broke hat, because all I'm doing is talking to existing business. I'm not dealing with new business. You can very quickly say to someone that's in your existing business, you know what, I'm going to get back to you between 12 and 1. We're going to get this problem solved between 12 and 1 o'clock. I look forward to speaking to you then. And then, between the hours of 9 and 11, or 8 and 10, that earlier time, you're actually getting out the deals and meeting new people. So meeting new people that are going to give you more business. How many guys are tracking your leads right now? Okay, a couple people. I got to tell you a little secret. If you're not tracking your leads and figuring out where they're coming from, you have no idea where to put your activity. So in other words, if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, well, I've got 4 leads, all right, I'm going to work these leads, and you're not sourcing your deals, you're not figuring out where these are actually coming from, you have no idea where to spend your time. So if you're getting leads in from a certain source, like a person, you need to thank that person, number one. Number two, you need to figure out how did you make that relationship happen so you can make that relationship happen again. Duplicate that relationship. You've got to be spending time nurturing relationships. So that's my next conversation. How many guys are using a greatness tracker? All right, just Lana. Okay, here's the deal. That 2 hours a day of lead generation. If I just tell you to go out and lead generate for 2 hours, what are you going to do? You're going to open up that laptop. Facebook's going to pop up because it magically pops up on its own, doesn't it? I got this thing called Reality T that pops up that tells me all the housewives stuff. That pops up. MSNBC, CNN, Fox, if I want to see what's really going on in somebody else's mood and world. All these things pop up magically on my computer. But if I turn my computer off and I open up what I call the greatness tracker, which I can send you guys a copy, and I'll give you my contact information at the end. The greatness tracker says, how many people did you meet today at Mariano's, at one of our grocery stores? How many people did you sit down with and break bread? How many people did you send personal notes to? How many people did you actually pick up the phone and call? And what's going to happen is you're going to realize that 2 hours was spent doing not a darn thing that's going to get you any business. That is the reality of where we're at right now in our industry. So a greatness tracker is a huge thing for your business. Your database is your gold mine. Those of you guys that are already at exit are going to be like, oh, he's saying that again? Because here's what we're finding out. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. That database is dying. And here's why. Any CRM. How many of you guys know what a CRM is? How many of you guys are effectively using the CRM you have? Uh-oh. Boy, his hands went down. Mine would probably go about halfway down. I don't care whether your CRM is an Excel spreadsheet, Google Contacts, your phone, promo shop that we give you at exit, I don't care what it is. A CRM, all it is, it's supposed to remind you that you need to reach out. It is not there to sit and only spit out a monthly e-newsletter like Lana and I mastered about 3 years ago. When Lana and I first got together in business, she sat down with me and we said, you know, the e-newsletter is going to be the big thing. That is going to be every month, everybody's going to get it. And Lana and I built these massive databases of people, and everyone gets our e-newsletter. 10,000 something got mine yesterday. Now that's down because some have unsubscribed.
They all unsubscribe.
They unsubscribe over time. They read it and they forget it, and that's nice. What I could not tell you until about 1.5 years ago, when I got into the core program and the Buffini program, what I could not tell you was when most of my past clients' birthdays were, when most of my past clients' housing anniversaries were, what most of my current clients' likes were. So if somebody did get me a new client, I couldn't even tell you whether like red wine, white wine, sweet tea, no tea. I had no idea what my own people liked. because I wasn't investing in my database. I was hoping that mass mailer by email once a month was going to magically do the trick. It's still important. I still get leads off my monthly e-newsletter, but the vast majority of agents use that as a crutch, and they have no personal contact with their past clients, current clients, or their existing database of people. And that's why we're in the situations we're in. You have to acknowledge people personally. You can rely on social media. I love social media. We all do. It is fun. It's good. I have built some of you guys in this room I know only through social media. We really don't know each other, but we know of each other. And we built a level of respect, some of us. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to cross over and then use me because they know me online. There's a big difference between knowing me online and actually sitting down, walking into a room. I go to a lot of birthday parties. I go to a lot of house parties because that is where I meet people and they say, oh, now I'm not as cool as the ice cream lady. People don't recognize me by food type. If they did, it would probably be like a tangerine or pizza. But what they do recognize, oh, you're that real estate guy. I follow you on Instagram or we're connected on LinkedIn. But guess what? Those people a lot of times haven't sent me business until I'm face to face with them and we get that 5 minutes at a party or at a restaurant or going out and having a personal interaction with them, and then there's that real connection. And then maybe a little follow-up note later to thank them for that personal connection, because guess what? Now I have their address. So this is the type of going deeper that we need to do. We are hanging out on social media and we're hiding behind that e-newsletter, and that's where we have to stop. There are only 3 funnels of leads. Only 3. I'm gonna cut through some noise for you guys here, because I love when people sit down in my chair and they say, well, I want to work with $1 million clients. I said, that's wonderful. So who are you talking to that has $1 million? Ooh, gets quiet. Here's where your leads come from, or where you get leads, period. There's 3 funnels, and I write about this on my LinkedIn blog. I'm gonna really start talking about this more and more because I hope this is gonna cut through the noise for you. This is my own version of what you may hear from different coaches. I hope this will make sense. The first type is referrals. Referrals, that's the sweet spot. So think of it as if you opened your own boutique. We were talking about boutiques. Think about if you open your own boutique. A referral is where you go and unlock that door in the morning and there's someone already there at that front door. You didn't spend $1 to get them. You don't know who they are. They're saying, hey, someone referred me and said that this is a great place to go. That is what I have curated over the years in my business, which is the favorite part of my business. People ask me, they're like, where do you get your leads from? The vast majority of my business is from referral. So when I opened up my online store, most of the time when I wake up in the morning, I have a lead through Facebook, through Instagram, through LinkedIn, a text message, an email. I wake up to business. Now that's taken me a long time to do and a long time to screw it up in order to figure out how to do it right. But that is where I get a lot of my business, and that's a sweet spot. But it takes time to get there. So you can't disrespect the other sources of business either. Prospecting and farming. That's where you go open that boutique door and you put on those nice ice cream lady shoes and high heels and their beautiful leggings, and you walk out and you actually get clients. You are grabbing people and you are bringing them into your store or into your service. So you're going out and knocking on doors. You're doing direct mail pieces. You are physically building new relationships beyond the ones you already have. And that is hard to do. When you are new in the business, I remember when Joe was brand new in the business, rookie of the year. Joe did a lot of pounding the pavement to build his business because nobody knew him yet. Now people know him. Now people call Joe, like they call Lana, like they call Foster. But you have to prospect and farm to build that before you're ever going to get the referrals from it, okay? The last source, and this is the controversial one. Oh no, we're going to talk about Zillow. We are going to talk about Zillow. We're going to talk about Realtor.com too. This is not sponsored by them at all. They may not like me. Here's the truth. Paid leads. There are people out there that their website is getting more traffic than you. That's just the reality of it. NickLiber.com is my website. Feel free to go to it. Not too many people do. But it's a very nice website. I pay for a website for every single one of our agents. The bottom line is Zillow has Super Bowl commercials. Realtor.com has that cool girl that was on a couple of sitcoms. They're everywhere. That is where the traffic goes. So I'm not going to sit there and put blinders on and say that's not an issue for me, or that's not something I'm going to deal with. I'm going to acknowledge that and say they're getting more traffic than me. So my job there is to do one of 2 things. Either I go out and build personal relationships that don't have that silly lady in them, or that don't have the Super Bowl commercial, but that have me physically in front of your face giving you real market data. Or I plop down a credit card and I start working with Zillow and Realtor.com. And quite frankly, I got people in my office that do both. And I coach on both. I don't care which one you do, but you have to do one or the other. You cannot put your head in the sand and say, oh, I hope my brokerage gets me out of this. Because I got bad news for you. That is not what I'm doing before I go to bed at night, guys. That is not what I'm doing. I'm making sure you guys that are here and physically doing your work are well paid, and then also you guys are physically here and getting the marketing services you need and the staff services you need. I'm not sitting there trying to fight with Zillow. So paid leads. If you're gonna pay for leads, you have to commit to following up 7 times. And that's where the conversation most of the time stops. Because people, if you're gonna pay for leads from Realtor.com, from Zillow, or Facebook ads. Notice I didn't mention any other websites, because I don't know of any other websites. And here's why I don't know them, because I don't see the traffic going to them. So if you want to go and Google real estate websites and see where the traffic goes, it's going to Zillow, it's going to Realtor.com, and that's pretty much it. And everything else to me is noise. So if someone comes to me and says, oh, I've got hot leads for you. Okay, what? Where? Where did those come from? Because they're not from the major traffic sources, so that makes me suspicious. Now, Facebook leads I like. I don't have an issue with those either, because that's where you're going directly to the people out there. And there's some people playing on Instagram too. Here's my issue. With any of those, you are spending money. So you have to follow up 7 times. Those aren't your friends. Those aren't a referral. And they're not particularly a stranger that you knocked on their door. These people are going, who are you too? The same way you're asking about them. So follow up with them 7 times. Connect with them on LinkedIn. That's a little bonus. It's not even on here. Get to know these people, but you have to connect 7 times over a variety of media. If you have a cell phone number for them, call them and text them. Text them. They may respond to text a lot better than cell phone, just like sometimes I do. Email, all that stuff. You got to get them 7 different times. All leads, whether they are referral, prospecting and farming, or paid, all leads must be tracked and loved. So if you sit there and you think that because someone was a referral from a friend, you can get back with them tomorrow. I got a whole box full of those that never panned out in my garbage bag. That's the reality of it. I got a whole garbage bag full of those because I didn't follow up quick enough. So even if they fell in love with you based on what your friend said, they're gonna fall out of love with you real quick if you don't treat them right and you don't respond quickly. They're probably not gonna need 7 touches like a paid lead or like some farming and prospecting, but they're gonna need instant love. You've got to be tracking all these people, because what we find out with a lot of our agents, and a lot of agents I coach that aren't yet at exit, here's the deal. They say, I don't have enough leads. So we do the greatness tracker. And the greatness tracker makes me figure out that a lot of times they're just not talking to anybody. But some people do fill out their greatness tracker. They say, Nick, I don't have enough leads. So we fill out the lead tracker. And they come with 2 or 3 sheets of leads. Got like 100 leads in there. So there's leads. Well, none of these are good. Okay, how many times did you talk to them? Once. Oh, you tried to talk to them once. That's not, give me those, I'll take those somewhere else. I'll go in the background and convert them myself. You have to be tracking these leads, and you have to be tracking how you're converting them, because what we're finding out is half the time it's a lead generation issue, and the other half the time it's a lead conversion issue, because you just simply weren't trying. You tried once, if at all. You've got to add these people to your database. Some of the best leads when I did pay for leads, some of the best leads were the people that ignored me. Ignored me 3 or 4 times. I never called them 7, to be honest with you. 3 to 4 times, I'm like, ooh, this is enough. But I threw them in my database. They got my monthly e-newsletter we just made fun of. I added them on LinkedIn. And somehow, magically over time, some of them spit back out at me. They're like, hey, you've been sending me stuff. I want to talk to you. And I'm like, who? And I have to go back in and look at my old lead trackers to figure out who it is and where they actually came from. So there is life in some of these old leads. There's a company out there that's their whole business models. They go take all your old leads and they go talk to them, or try to, for 7 times. There's all different kinds of companies out there that can take your money and do the job for you, but then they're not going to give you the lead back. So you've got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Next up, 12-month marketing calendar. All right, I love a good business plan. Most of us at Exit Strategy, that's our thing. We do the business plan every fall. I'll give you a quick analysis of how that went down. We used to do no planning at all. Then we had business plans, but then you would do them like in January, which was great in March and April when those activities actually started to close deals. So then we said we're going to do them in October and November, and that was great. But then people would lose them. They would go in a desk drawer. We'd find them next to an old expired Snickers bar. Something would happen where we just weren't seeing these anymore. Even the people that brought them out of the drawer once a month or every 2 months will go, wow, this is a lot. This is overly ambitious. I have never seen a bad business plan. Now, I've seen a poorly designed business plan that we redrafted. But I've never seen a final business plan from anybody that was bad. I have seen follow-up that is god-awful, including my own. And that's, I shared my business plan with our agents, and I said, okay, here's what I did not do last year. Here's what I was really good at. Here's what I did terrible. I didn't even look at this. So you've got to not only pull the business plan out, but you have to put together a 12-month marketing plan. Because what we're telling you to do is to build relationships. Relationship building requires personal notes. It requires events. It requires education and training for your consumers. It requires interaction with them that's logistics and time. So what you have to do then is you have to get out a 12-month marketing calendar. I can sit there and talk about this for an hour because I have a whole video on it for an hour, so you can go connect on that. But this is something you have to do. And it takes time, but trust me, it will make you money. A 12-month marketing calendar. Along with that, do a 411. Some of you guys at Exit are in my 411. We love 411. It allows you to plan ahead for stuff like graphic design. Travis can't stand me most of the time because I'll sit there at like 11:59 and go, oh, you know, at noon I need to post this graphic. If you have a 12-month marketing calendar and you are following it, you can get the stuff to your graphic designer, you can get logistics plans, you can get a venue cheaper or better or for free even, and think about your events coming up. Because this is what we're telling you guys also. It's not just about showing and telling, it's about learning and experiencing. And so if you're gonna do that, how are you gonna do that? You're gonna do events like this. I can guarantee you, you will much more remember this experience today than if you watch this on a webinar. Number one, the food was good. Thank you, Chase. Number two, this, you had someone, I mean, Latrice is amazing. She's even more cool in real life. You know, these people, things come to life when you're together. You have to plan ahead for these events, so you have to do a 12-month marketing calendar. All right, let's talk about teams for a second. Teams are huge. You have two issues, only two issues in the real estate business. Issue one is lead generation. I don't have enough leads. Issue two is I have too many leads. Now, there's no such thing as too many leads. And I always tell everybody, I remind them, you know, just like this little, you know, cheesy laptop piece here that I did, it's always about lead generation. But at some point, all of this stuff is actually going to work, and you're going to need to build a team. And that's the other thing we coach on at Exit. Here's the truth about teams, no matter what brand you're with, no matter where you are. As you grow your business beyond just you, the first hire, and this is actually not the way I used to do it, the first hire needs to be an assistant. It doesn't need to be a licensed team member looking for commission dollars from you. It needs to be an assistant. So that assistant may be licensed, but they need to be paid like an assistant, and there's reasons why for that. They can do a lot for you. As you continue to grow your team, you're going to hire team members. Licensed team members are also key. However, we need to say at the beginning, if you are not structuring your business so that you understand those people are going to leave your team at some point and outgrow your team, because if you've hired a good team member, they are going to realize, hey, this is how I do the business, and I'm driven, and I'm cool, and I'm articulate. I should be able to do this too, and they're going to leave. I would be worried if your team member's been with you for 20 years. Because either A, they're probably stealing, or B, that they're just not motivated. I want motivated people. I want people to be great, because your experience as the team leader, you're selling people on you. The people on your team should be pretty darn good too. So the reality is, if you're going to have a team, people are going to be leaving your team from time to time. We don't want that to happen a lot, but when they do, what happens to them? If they go at most companies, they go and they take all your secrets and they go sit at another desk in a cube in the corner, and you shoot dirty looks at them for 6 months and throw their name tag in the garbage and all this mess. But what in reality needs to happen is that you need to encourage them, and you need to encourage them to grow. The only company I know that does that right now is Exit. And the way we do it is we say, okay, you bring somebody into the company, you get 10% of what they do. So while you're helping them and they're growing on the team, you're getting the referral fee or the split that you do with them as you're growing your business and you're sharing leads with them. When they leave your team, you're still getting money. You're still going to be nice to them. You're still going to mentor them because you're still getting 10% of what they do as long as both you and they are at the company. That is what you need to build. If you're not at our company, go build it at your company. I don't want to have that conversation with your managing broker. Good luck with that. But that is the type of thing you need to do. A lot of people I see, they build their whole team concept around this obsession that the team member is going to be there forever. This is going to be my team for life. No, it's not. And again, if it is, I wonder who that grifter is that's that barnacle at the bottom of your boat. These people are going to grow beyond you. So embrace that, celebrate that. Make sure you are at a company that's going to be a part of what you do. And further on beyond that, if you guys are not sharing, if you guys are not growing, If you guys are not collaborating, you guys are making a huge mistake. That's one of the reasons why I joined my company, was that we're one of only 3 that are out there that actually encourage you to help the company grow. I don't want to be around strangers. I've done that before. It is not cool to sit there and lock your desk up at the end of the day because you know everybody's going to steal your stuff. There are some real estate brokerages out there like that. I want to be at a company that if I speak at an event like this and I motivate somebody to do better or do different or come to my company, I'm going to get something for that. Because I want to be leveraging myself beyond my own activities. And that goes beyond a team. You guys have to start thinking beyond yourself, because what we know is this is a tough business. I'm very well aware of it. I'm an agent still more than I am a broker owner. I realize we're all sitting here paying our taxes or behind on our taxes and on an installment plan. I realize that we're all sitting there at 1099, which means you have no idea when that next check's going to come unless you're doing the activities we're talking about here. You know, we finally have health insurance, but how expensive is that health insurance? You're driving around burning up all your gas, car maintenance. This is a tough business. So if you're not making $100,000 a year, I question why you're still in it. I want you to make $100,000 a year or more. That's why we cap you out of our company. I also want you to leverage beyond what you're doing so that you are physically making more money beyond the activities of yourself. That comes from 2 things. Number 1, you have to be doing a profit and loss statement. This goes back to our joke earlier about the bus benches and all that kind of stuff. If you are not tracking your money, we spend money everywhere. Real estate agents have some of the worst financial habits of any industry I've ever seen. This is the only industry I've ever been in, but I watch my friends in other industries. I'm like, they don't have people looking ragged and getting boots on their cars, and you know, the IRS is coming into the front door of the office. I'm like, what is going on with you people? And it's not the broke ones, the new agents. It's the experienced agents. You make a lot of money. Where did it go? What are you doing? So that's the issues in our business. We spend money everywhere and we save none of it. And here's what drives me nuts the most. I sit there and I say, well, how did you do last year? And people spout off their volume. Okay, well, how much did you actually make? How much did you actually make after you bought all those leads, or you put up all those billboards, or those dumb bus benches, or those print ads, or sat there and threw a bunch of parties for your friends and clients? What did you actually make? Don't give me your volume, because it's probably lumped in with 3 or 4 other people if you're at some of these companies that do that. What did you make? You need to figure out how much you guys are taking home, because some of you guys aren't going to be clapping yourself on the back anymore. I got a car sales award last year. I got to tell you, I was not impressed with the companies, but the money I took home personally. I was very happy with my little certificate that I put up on the wall in my office. I didn't make that much last year because I spent a lot of money dumb. So that's what you need to look at. If you're not doing a profit and loss statement, you're doing yourself a disservice. My last thing I'll comment to you about, if you are not getting money put away to buy real estate, you are doing a huge disservice. This is the only industry I know of where we don't have a retirement plan. Anybody, none of us have a retirement plan. You guys have to buy real estate. You guys have to save money. You guys have to put money away. July 1st this year, I have determined that I am going to be making public my profit and loss statements on my personal business, on my sales business, so that other agents in our office can understand where I'm spending money, where I'm losing money, where it's not working, where I'm saving money, how I'm saving money, because I feel like this as an industry, we have such terrible habits, and no one is leading the way. So I hope you guys will join me in that you will do profit and loss statements, that you will talk about residual income, that you will talk about real estate investing. You know, come to our investors club at our office, come sit down and talk to one of us.
How many flips you did?
And you know, flipping, buy and hold, all of that stuff. Sit in and talk with us about that, because this is the conversations we have to have, guys. This is not the fun stuff. The fun stuff is going out, having a wonderful time with your clients, making a big check, putting most of that check into your bank account. That's the fun part. That's why we're all in this business. There is no ceiling. It's not a very high ceiling. There is no ceiling in real estate. But you know what there is? A very hard floor. And I've been at that floor. And it is not fun. I don't ever want to go back there. I've screwed up enough times where I've seen it, the floor again. I'm like, nope, not going down there, not cleaning that floor today with my face. You guys, please, 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 listen to what this stuff is. And let's do it together. Let's collaborate. I know I think I've taken up all my time. Connect with me on YouTube. I've got a bunch of YouTube videos up. This one's actually going to be up on YouTube tomorrow. We're going to be trying to get more and more of content up there, both for agents and for consumers. We have a free Brian Buffini class tomorrow at our office. It's actually going on all day. So if you are already in the class, you're already there anyway, making up sessions, but we're gonna play all the sessions back the first 7. So if you're not in our office, you can come join us. You won't have the workbook, you're gonna be a little bit lost, but the content in there is so powerful, even if you don't have a workbook, you're gonna get stuff out of that. So that's at 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow at our office on North Avenue. You can connect with me on LinkedIn too. I've got a blog on there that some agents are finding pretty useful. You can email me, nick@nickliber.com, and we can set up some one-on-one coaching. So I know Lana's probably going to want to come back up here and see if there's questions for all of the panelists. And thank you guys very much for your time.
Yeah.